Good morning. This is Desiree Dubois, founder of An Empowered Woman and Homework, and I have the pleasure of speaking with Jennifer Hutchins, who is a producer, and she's going to share with us some of the things that she's taken to be able to give her more visibility, more credibility, and create more revenue streams. She took the Power Seven. How many years ago, Jennifer, was that? Maybe five, six?
Or, yeah, I'd say around 5 or 6 years ago.
Yes, yes.
This
Well,
is
thank you, thank you,
2020
thank
now.
you. Thank you so much for joining us. It's so good to see you and to connect with you and to catch up with what you've been up to. So, officially, what would you say your title is?
Producer of television and film.
And you've had the pleasure and experience of doing so many different projects. Would you kind of brag a bit for us? I see a couple trophies or things in the background, so please do share.
It's been a long run so far. I've gone from project to project. Some of the television series that you might recognize. One is called Chris Angel Mind Freak. That was a popular show on A&E for many years, about a magician who does crazy stunts, and then it had sort of like the background of his family life and the anxiety on preparing these stunts and all of that. And then that spun off into a series called Chris Angel Believe, that was on Spike. Two of the awards back there for that. Um,
Yay.
we had done a magic trick about he was trying to escape before a building imploded, and I had discovered a interesting family of building imploders that traveled the country, and they were so interesting that they ended up getting their own series. So that
Wow.
other award there in the middle is for the imploders, which was then all about them. um,
Yay.
so it's been a lot of docu-series, which is not reality.
Mhm.
Reality shows are kind of the housewives and kind of more scripted formats, and the docu-series is more documentary, where you really just truly follow somebody's life and put it together in an interesting way. And then I've intermixed some films throughout the years too.
Fantastic. How long have you been doing that? Because you look so young.
We'll say over a decade.
Over a decade. Oh my gosh. You
I don't want
started
to
when you
age
were a
myself too
teenager.
much, but it's been longer. But yeah, over a decade.
Really? So that's and you've been consistent, pretty consistent. Because you just said you just finished a project recently. So has it been pretty consistent or inconsistent? I mean, is that I guess it just
It's
depends on the years and pandemics and things of that type, but what have you found to be true?
Um, it's a lot of who you know, and it's constant networking and reminding people that you exist, and kind of saying, "Hey, here's the last thing I did. Please think of me." I have a new series coming out that we started before COVID, and then had to get everybody virtual during COVID, and we've just now finished the series. It's about animal rescue,
Mm.
with it's for CBS All Access. It's called That Animal Rescue Show. Uh, Richard Linkletter, the director of Boyhood, School of Rock, he's the director of this. It's a
Wow.
Dr. Phil production, and we also have double
Nice.
Oscar winner Bill Gutentag, who also directed. So we're excited about that. That airs on October 29th.
Yay! And where does it air? On October
It's
29th?
it's a streaming platform for CBS, so it's CBS All Access. So what they do is, since it's streaming, they put all 10 episodes up, starting October 29th. And I think it's something that everybody needs right now. It's happy animal stories about people rescuing animals, but in
Yeah.
turn, the animals are rescuing the people.
That's always been a very, I think, an understated form of therapy. That and the fact that how important animals are, and I want to go into a different, junction, but animals are really not necessarily from so much what you do for them is so much what they do for you. It really is a
Hmm.
lot what they do for you, and that's why they've incorporated them into these, assisted living places or the elder care places or just even families, and especially during the quarantine. I think that's what saved a lot of people from being totally isolated and feeling alone.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I
Yes.
heard about some of the animal rescue facilities being emptied out shortly
Mhm.
after
Yeah.
everybody was at stay at home, which was, it's good to hear the good stories and,
Mhm.
within.
Well, thank you for even bringing that to light so we can be able to share that. So you've been doing it for over a decade, and I remember when you were in Los Angeles, traveled from where do you travel from Where were you born and raised?
Oh, born and raised in a small town of Michigan, kind of Dukes of Hazzard style, where we knew nothing but country roads, and then ended up in Hollywood for a long time. And but always thought people were so interesting. You don't have to write a fictional script because life is stranger than fiction.
The real life, yes, I agree. And the thing is that, but I remember that's a big move for you to coming from this small town to Hollywood and being able to make it. And I know when we met, you were talking about even creating a program or educational package or some kind of package for people that were starting out and things that they need to know, like the tips. It's the tips. And I will never forget the one tip you shared with me as far as that you went on interviews or auditions, I guess is correct. And you were, pretty as you are today with your hair down and glammed up, but they didn't hire you because they didn't look like the part. And when you figured that out, you decided to wear your hair in a ponytail and wear, less feminine. You share it because it's just a really good. No, because it really is. It stuck with me.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, in anything that was really valuable.
Yeah, at the time I was doing a lot of field directing and field producing. And, it was going into people's houses and getting interviews and real moments from people. And I was, I luckily for some reason, it just started to occur to me to look more like what that looks like. If you're in the field, you don't look glammed up with red lipstick on, your hair's in a ponytail, you got your director's hat on, your jeans or whatever. So it just, I don't know, for some reason I showed up to an interview that way and ended up getting the job. And it turns out the executive producer who was doing the hiring actually stated that he never hires a female that shows up in a dress because he just can't envision her in the field directing people. And I thought, thank God I had my cowboy boots and jeans on that day.
Yeah, I mean, so it's things like that. So that would have been a perfect project, and it still is a very valuable project for you to be able to create and share because no matter where you're coming from, no matter what you're doing, it's really applicable. But then also, what you have gone, you've moved to Texas, and you've gone and started doing events. So I'm excited to hear about that because I hear that it's just exploded. So tell me, like, how you did the first one, where you did it, how you promoted it, who came.
Right.
Just take us through that journey.
Yeah. So I was lots of inspiration from taking your power of seven. And it stuck with me when I moved to the new town and how could I connect with people. And started asking around to some people I had met if they knew a venue that might benefit from me bringing in a lot of business at an off time. And one was referred to me, and I talked to them, and they were more than happy to host me if I was going to bring in a bunch of people, at 6 o'clock on a Thursday when they don't usually get busy till 9 o'clock, because it was a kind of like a nightclub sort of setting. And I said,
Mm-hmm.
okay, great. Well, can you offer a discount on your drinks too? And it will feel special for the people showing up. And can you give me the stage and the microphone and the lights? Because I'm going to be talking to people. So I got some volunteers, my family, who happened to live in Austin as well, and
I hope you have a big family.
and had them sign everybody in at the door. But the trick that I did was because it was a networking event for people in the entertainment business. But I always think most networking events are not great. Like you leave and you just don't really feel like you connected with many people because it's usually a lot of out of work people. So I thought, how do I draw people that are working to the event also? Oh, you get a guest speaker that's really cool that they want to see. And then that will also help me draw my audience as well if they share it to their audience. So I started kind of meeting people throughout the town, and it was referred to me a guy that had been heavy in the entertainment business for over a decade in Austin, and he had a big list that goes out to a lot of people. And so I made him my first guest speaker, about how to rule the business, and asked if he would share it to all of his people. And he not only shared it to all of his people, but he made me an administrator so that I don't have to go through him the next time I want to announce event. I can just send it to
Wow.
all of his
Wow.
people.
That's huge. That's
So
huge.
yeah, yeah. And so the first event, over 100 people showed up. And
Yay.
and
That's
basically, I was offering it for free, and they showed up to just check it out and realized that it was really formatted. It was a good product. It wasn't kind of like a crappy free event, and then they kept coming back after that.
so how many have you done and how often do you do them?
Oh gosh, I've done about 30 events at this point. Um, uh, I'm hitting almost 3 years in January of 2021. And uh, I was doing it monthly, or I am doing it monthly. Sometimes I skip a month or so if I'm busy with a series. But I switched venues. We're at the W Hotel now, and it kind of got posh
Oh,
here. And
nice,
as soon
nice.
as soon as I switched the event, it went from 100 people average to almost 300 on the first couple of
So you think
events.
it was the location, or you think it's who you had speaking by coincidence?
I think it was a combo of both because the guest speakers started getting a little bit more higher profile too every time. But the venue, I think, um, definitely helped. And I had this vision of pulling in, a more serious crowd, somebody that's willing to spend $15 on a drink, not five.
Right.
It's sort of different mentality. And I think a lot of people came out of the woodwork that didn't go to the other venue, which was more of a nightclub atmosphere. So we ended up, the W Hotel in Austin has 3 different bars all over the first floor. We filled them all. And they gave me a room where they set up a stage and the whole thing for me free of charge because I filled their bars. And we were standing room only. It was packed and people were just
Wow.
poured into the hallways too. They couldn't even get in.
That's
So
fantastic. That's like absolutely. We did some things at the W Hotel in Westwood here, and it is a beautiful venue. And just they just such it's such a different level. Like you said,
mhm.
it's not the clubby level or that level. It's not the pickup level. It's actually more of a really, really almost 'cause they do a lot of events and conventions and seminars and things like that. So has a big difference as far as the vibe, and the people feel they're willing to pay even the valet parking and things of that type. Because they didn't have free parking no longer and the Valley Parking because they feel like they're actually really going someplace that's really special. And
Yeah.
that, in addition to your different speakers, must be huge. And it was still for free at this point, correct?
Yes, yes. So, I teetered around the idea of charging people, but what happened without really even thinking about this is it started creating all of this really good energy, not just for me, but other people attending. People started showing back up continuously and forming connections with people and getting jobs through each other because they started to know each other and recognize each other. But it also started happening for me. Like I started being in people's memory of sort of the go-to in the entertainment business. If somebody
Hmm.
randomly was looking for a producer, my name was sticking in their head because I'm
Exactly.
continuously sending these emails out or throwing these events. And so what happened is all of a sudden, as somebody's looking for somebody for a new series or a project, I'm getting referred by people I don't even know. And so I am making money off of it in a different way.
Exactly. So what's the perfect thing is that's like almost like content marketing in the sense that you're marketing content, you're bringing speakers in that are sharing information, you're marketing to masses, and it's bringing you people. So sometimes it's not just the money, it's the credibility, it's the visibility, and that in itself renders revenue streams. So that's what's
Mhm.
really important about what you're doing. So the jobs that you've gotten, the connections that you've gotten from that, and just now, you're probably considered an influencer in that area in that capacity because you're an influencer, and that's huge. And you've mentioned that you got some really good jobs out of it, some good opportunities.
Yeah. Um, I've just paused out of my train of thought here. Um,
I know you
Yeah.
mentioned that one of the
What I was
opportunities.
gonna
Hmm.
say is not only that, but building a big list of outreach to people that I can send a message anytime. It's almost like I became my own sponsor. I don't have to
Hmm.
pay to get a message out. I have my own format to
Hmm.
get it out to
Exactly.
people, and people are willing to share to their people and their people and their people. Like you start to build your own brand.
Brand, yes. Yes, absolutely. But you even mentioned that something there was an opportunity that was probably equivalent to $200,000 or you're calculating because if you were to calculate all the different opportunities or the jobs or just whether it's directly or indirectly, you probably garnered or possibly, what would you
Yeah,
say that number
it's
would be?
it's it's brought in about $200,000 worth of opportunities a year.
That's huge. That's huge. For
Mhm.
party, you know, even though we're not gonna discount the work, there's a lot of, it sounds like, giving an event once a month is easy. There's a lot of moving parts, that goes beyond it, especially if you don't have a permanent team, staff that's working it. Because you're working with a lot of volunteers, but, still, that's extra that you wouldn't have had before,
Yeah.
possibly. And
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And it's having that sort of name recognition too, where your phone calls or emails get answered because people,
mhm,
even though
mhm,
that they might not have shown up to an event, they've seen
mhm,
the newsletters or they've
mhm.
heard of you in some sort of way, or somebody was at an event and says, I went to this great event. So it's and what's weird about it, when you become a guest speaker, other people that are throwing events see that you're doing that and they start to ask you to guest speak at their events as well.
Exactly, and that in itself brings so now it's really gonna be a matter of you being able to not only offer your producing, but that you'd offer something. Now that you're speaking at more events, really being able to create something that you can offer so that those that don't necessarily need you as a producer you can still monetize and benefit from it, at that point.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the next goal is to start speaking at universities and, where they, or you go on higher levels of corporate events where they, pay you to
Actually
come
pay.
influence and
Exactly.
guest speak. Yeah.
Pay to speak, pay to speak.
Hmm.
So you also what happened during the COVID then? What happened when the COVID came around?
Uh, well, we were in the middle of a series, and right then, all the networks were thinking, what series should we drop? What series can go on? What are we looking at here? And we were one of those ones that was teetering, and I had to quickly do multiple versions of schedules and budgets and, hold on for dear life. Like, no, 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 we can do this. We can do this. So, um, we were becoming COVID experts and trying to read everything that was out there. And, everybody was just on lockdown. So it was like,
Yes.
okay, here I am in my home office now with my 4-year-old toddler running around, trying to figure out how to keep the series afloat. And we were able to push through, and luckily we had done most of the principal photography. Um, we'd finished 2 weeks before lockdown, and so our editorial staff was already set up in LA since December, right when we started shooting. We were sending footage to them immediately. So we were in a process with them, but they had to go home and they had to lock down too. So we figured out how to get, all of the things they needed to them at home, and ship things out. And there was a hard drive shortage.
Magic.
Yeah, yeah. No, people started, buying up all the hard drives. And so that was something because, you put all your footage on it.
Interesting.
So we started finding things you wouldn't think about that were a big
Mhm.
challenge. But we figured out how to go live virtually with everything we needed to do and delivered the series. And now it's going to air.
Yay. So what about your meetups? What about your events?
The event, I took it. Well, I waited about a month thinking, what am I going to do with this? This is a, in-person event. And so then, I was looking at Zoom. Everybody was on Zoom. And by the way, hello, Skype. Like, you were born for this. What happened to you? But all of a sudden Zoom comes in, just steps on you. Like,
Everybody, exactly. We totally forgot about Skype. What
right?
is
What happened
happening to
to them?
Skype? Where is Skype? What are they doing now?
Right. So then I'm looking at Zoom, and it's not easy. It's not made. It was made for teachers, and it's got all these
Exactly.
weird little
Yeah.
quirky things to it. And I was, watching all these little webinars, and you couldn't reach anybody at Zoom, and I kept signing up for the wrong thing, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh crap. So I finally figured it out, and sent an invite to everybody that we're going to do a Zoom, and it's going to be just like the event, only we're going to be virtual. And the way that I run the event is I give away just free advice, kind of just rant and talk about, oh, you should do that, shouldn't do that. Well, it's my opinion, but and then have a guest speaker, and then I do an open mic where people can offer jobs. And then after that, people can do a 30-second pitch yourself to the group. So then they now know who to connect with. So it's very connective. And
Wow.
so the one
Nice.
thing was, though, after that, usually people network with each other. So I was thinking,
Hmm.
how am I going to do that? And Zoom actually has a thing where you can put people in different rooms.
Breakout
So
rooms.
I
Yeah.
thought, yeah, I'm going to put producers in one room, editors in another, so on, so on. So the system's kind of clunky, though, because only the host can put people in rooms.
Right.
And so my
Right.
first Zoom, I had 300 people attend. And I'm going, and let me tell you, there's nothing more surreal than being on there and flipping through pages of heads. And you're going, all these people are staring at me. There's a lot of people. And there's something empowering too, because you're like, I can mute you all at the same time.
That's the producer director in you that
I know. I was like, this is
control.
weird. And so then like I was in control of where they get to go network. So I told everybody, change your name to where you want to network. Put dash editor, dash producer, whatever. So then as I'm talking, I'm like quickly assigning them to all these
Oh
rooms.
my
So,
goodness.
so
Oh
at the
my
very end, I
goodness.
hit one button and they all went into their rooms. Which was
Magic.
very
That's
odd too. Yeah,
awesome.
very odd.
Wow.
And then you as the host can then jump around to the different rooms because they can't move, but you can, which is another weird thing. So anyways,
Wow.
I've been figuring out the quirks of it as we go, but people, oh, they loved it. The first one I threw, they were talking in the rooms till like 11 o'clock at night. I just kept
Well, I was going to
listening.
ask, like, how long did you leave them in the rooms for?
Yeah. Well, I said that the event would go from 7 to 8:30. And at 8:30, people were having so much fun in the rooms. Like they turned it into happy hour. They were sitting there in their living room with cocktails, talking to people they'd
Oh,
never met. And so I thought, this is fun. So we just kept
awesome.
going and going and going. And till kind of last man standing. And I was like, all right, it's 11 o'clock. Let's shut this thing down. But I got so many messages afterwards. Like I actually felt like I got to go out. I met new
Hmm.
people.
Hmm.
So
That is fun. That's amazing. It's just amazing how you all again has been so ingenious and been able to take something that was relatively new to you, new to all of us, and be able to navigate it that well, that fast, and have that kind of response with it.
yeah.
And that's just really, really powerful. So
Oh,
when's
I
your
should.
next one? Go on, tell me
Oh,
what.
the next one. Yes. I was just about to say I should do the shameless plug of it's allentertainmentbusiness.com. ALL.
Oh, that's what it's called, allentertainmentbusiness.com?
Yeah,
All entertainment
it's
business.
my nationwide version of what started out as AustinEntertainmentBusiness.com. I'd already done all the logos as AEB, so I just made it all entertainment business, and I opened it up nationwide. So the website looks about the same for both, but I figured since we're on Zoom, I'll invite everybody nationwide.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly. I mean, now it's limitless. So you're not confined to any certain area, you're not confined people from all over. That's really exciting when you start getting people from Hollywood and people from New York and people from all these different areas now really connecting. That's
Yeah,
very powerful. And that's a perfect example of something that was switched because of COVID, but may stay the same. You may either
yeah,
continue doing it that way or supplement it, even if you do live events, because just like you said, just being able to expand it even further is just much more powerful because there's so many people that work in those different areas. And
yeah.
wow,
I actually had a vision of doing the event and being able to also do a simultaneous Zoom for people that could not attend. And I'm additionally trying to figure out how to have all the Zoom heads on the wall behind me so that the
hmm.
audience can see the Zoom people. So I was thinking about that already. So when this happened, I'm like, all right, forced to do it. Nothing like learning now.
And you can do it. You can do it because if you produce the things that you're talking about, you produce. I'm sure if you produce, then you can do this. You can figure it out. And I think I've seen it done. I think Anthony Robbins did something like that. I heard that he had at one of his last events. He had it as walls, and he had I saw walls and walls, big floor to ceiling of different heads of people that were actually in live events. So it
Yeah.
can be done. I know if it can be done, you can do it. That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
exciting. So it's all entertainment
Allentertainmentbusiness.com.
com. Okay, now I'll actually put it into the script, allentertainmentbusiness.com. So with that, so when do you plan your next one? Are you gonna do another one on Zoom?
Yeah, I'm about to announce it probably for November. So I've been figuring out who the next set of guest speakers are. My work from home, my daughter's just re-entered from swimming, so
Okay,
you
so
might see her in the background.
I see movement in the back. Okay,
Yeah, yep.
and so it's maybe in November. So we'll stay tuned for that. And so with that said, like, so what's next? What's next for you with this?
Yeah. So another thing that's happened out of COVID is, everybody thought, what can I do now? And started, seeing what you can do without having to go on set with a bunch of people. And I was sitting on this project that is over a decade of, um, can you hold on one second?
Sure.
I was sitting on a project that's over a decade of archival footage that a husband collected of his family throughout the years, where you would normally just record your normal home life, he started seeing changes in his wife, and finally realized that she had gone many, many years undiagnosed bipolar. And the footage is absolutely shocking and breathtaking, and it shines a light on the disease. And we're hoping that we can help others that are going through this. Um, when I saw it, it was the type of footage that I just couldn't walk away. And so I've partnered up with the husband, and he's very active with the project and trying to get it off the ground. And I showed it to the double Oscar-winning director that I was working with on this new series for CBS. And I said, "This footage is really shocking. I just want you to take a look at it." And he goes, "Oh my gosh, yes, it is. You have something." And he came in as a director. He's going to direct it.
Wow,
And
congratulations.
thank
Nice.
you.
That's exciting.
Thank you. And another big producer in Hollywood that I've worked with on a couple projects, he saw the footage as well, and now he's come in and he's going to help with the sales and distribution, and bringing in a celebrity voice for the project that is big into the mental health um, industry and charities and that sort of thing. So right now we have a Kickstarter running, and it's linked to bipolardocumentary.com.
Okay, so I'm gonna put all of that into the chat so people can actually follow you and support you on that because that sounds really interesting, and I love the fact that you're doing something that it's a condition that many times just goes underdetermined, and people are just penalized all their life until they actually do get diagnosed that this is actually what it is. So I have a girlfriend that was suffering from it, so that I would love to support you, get the support for that. So that's
Thank you.
fantastic, and
Yeah, I mean that was the inspiration of the project, because what you just said, everybody you talk to knows somebody, if not
mhm,
themselves. It's such
mhm.
a, I mean, 14 million people in the U.S. alone will be affected by it this year.
Wow.
So it's
And
a
I
big
probably,
topic,
and probably a very, very, very large percentage of that don't even know that they have it. It's like because
right?
undiagnosed, I probably as many almost undiagnosed, and there is people that are diagnosed because it's
Yeah,
just people just don't recognize it to be such. So
yeah,
that
and
putting
and
them,
there's help. People don't realize they don't need to be living on this sort of emotional roller coaster. So
yeah, awesome. So that's great. That's fantastic. So it sounds like you've got a lot of great things going on in your life. Now, what do you want more of?
uh, well,
Time.
I think with all of it, time, right? It's time management. They tell you this when you're in elementary school, or maybe even middle school. You take that time management class, and you're like, "What do I need this for? I have all the time in the world."
So we didn't
And
pay
it's
attention, did we?
no, we didn't. So it's managing your time with quality things. It's deciding what's really important. And I've realized to do good in business and everything else, I need to have a balance with family and social and health and wellness and outdoor
And
activities.
self, and self.
Self, all
Yeah.
that needs to come into play. So yeah, it's self. I do an outdoor dance class now, and the old me would cancel that in a second to do a meeting or to do this, but the new me, it never gets canceled. All the meetings get scheduled around that. Like, this is something that happens
Nice.
every week. This is for me. Doesn't get canceled.
Nice, nice. So that self is just so important. It's just a priority, and we don't realize that that's the biggest asset that we have. I mean, that's what's making everything else work. The family, the business, and everything else really works off that engine. So if you can keep that engine healthy and wealthy and wise, many different ways, not just financially, but just spiritually and emotionally, intellectually, then you've got a gold mine. That's really what the gold mine is.
Yeah.
But
And I think for a lot of us, especially the people that find you are these entrepreneur sort of spirits, and they know they can do more and want more. And when you have that heart, it's very easy to get down on yourself.
mhm.
And when you're heading the right direction, you're going to face a lot of obstacles. And if you don't have that sort of take care of yourself, take care of everything else, so you have a nice round circle, it sometimes can feel too hard. You need to have the strength in the other places so that you can get through the hard part.
Exactly. I think Jennifer is really beautifully said. And then what really comes into play is the community support. I mean, that's why it helps being around because even if you sometimes like there's so many different situations and events that we do or live or virtual or hybrid, whatever matter what it is, that I always encourage people to participate in if it's humanly possible because you never know what you take away. It could just be that one little spark that ignites something, one little affirmation that just says, yes, I thought about that, or that's something I did think about and I can do it now because she's done done. And if she does it, I know I can do it. It can be done. It's just the energy. You just need to be around it. And that's what that energy, energy most of us have around is love from families and friends and things, coworkers and things like that. But it's just a different energy. It's that spark of energy that I always encourage people to stay tapped in as much as you possibly can, because that's the fuel that feeds that fire. And it's constant. It's not like you go get your hair done once and you're good. You get your nail. I wish it was, but no, it's a constant thing. So it's a constant thing you have to constantly do. You have to constantly, like you're doing a dance class. It's a constant, consistent connect with something, someone, somewhere, somehow that feeds your soul and that keeps you going in not only the personal side, but in your professional world as well.
Yeah.
And that's what you're doing to these people. That's what you're doing to your community. You're keeping them connected. You're keeping them live. A lot of those people may have or may not ever be in the entertainment industry. Some of them may be this perpetual wannabes, but just
Hmm.
being able to keep that dream alive and be a part of it by showing up and connecting with, that's huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's really underestimated, but it's huge.
Yeah.
And that could be that link they have to life.
Right. And when you give, you get back so much more. I think a lot of people forget sometimes, if you can't figure out what to do, just stop, just give, figure out a way to give. And then maybe
Hmm.
the answer will come to you, because it just creates this really new, fresh, amazing energy.
It's a great space. So, um, you want more, you've got more of that. So you want more of that balance and things of that type. And so what's important to you now in this life? You are young, you're a young mother, you've got children, you've got career, you've got friends, family. What's important to you now?
uh, Helping others realize their dreams. The group that just was started as a hobby has really become an important thing to me, and it has changed and affected a lot of people's lives from it. So the focus is to keep building that, and then keep forming great partnerships where it feels fun and not like work, where we can come out with a great product that also entertains people. I will always, till I die, want to tell good stories. So, to me, that's a fun hobby that I get paid for.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's a wonderful way of ending this. That's a wonderful goal. That's a wonderful aspiration. That's a wonderful life. So thank you so much for, giving back and sharing your story with the ladies in our community, because again, I know that a lot of them want to hear it. They need to hear it. And they need to see your shining example of what can be done and how they can do it. And just thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will
Thanks for having
definitely
me.
get your information and we'll support you best way we can and look forward to seeing you at the summit. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to share that we are providing a 5-day free virtual summit for the Power of Seven. And in the Power of Seven, we discuss content marketing, how to market yourselves, how to get more credibility, visibility, and revenue streams through the different mediums, whether it's the videos or the podcast or the written word, or whether it's through events, live events, virtual events, hybrid of both, whether it's through sponsorships and affiliates and creating masterminds and memberships and products, programs, and services, all the different things that will be able to generate additional $100,000 or more for your business. So, stay tuned, join us. The information is down below. Join us. It's going to be a fun week. We've got ladies like Jennifer that will be sharing what they've done, how they've done it, and amazing different things they've done with it. And it's just going to be fun and informative and something that you should be there. So that's November the 2nd to the 6th from 9 to 12 a.m. every day, Pacific time. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Jennifer. Look forward to seeing you soon. Stay
You
blessed, stay
too.
beautiful, and I'll see you soon.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, take care.
You too.